All right. You know. Your favorite day of the week is Monday night, live in the Counselor's Corner for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my co host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis, aka
Hi,
Ron Washington.
we sent the wolf on vacation for an episode. He'll be replaced by his more temperamental brother, Brian.
All right. If you want in on the panel, you know what to do. Hit us up. Recap from this past Monday's broadcast, we discussed what's your standard of care in a relationship. Go back and review the replay on the Controversial Counselors YouTube channel. Also, we have numerous reels breaking down the topic on IG, FB, YouTube, and TikTok. Moving on to tonight, April 15th at 9 p.m. We're having another session, but it's a open talk session. What's on your mind, good, bad, or indifferent? Let's talk about perhaps family, friendships, relationships, work, health issues, education, loyalty, mistrustful situations, child drama, or the dating game. Take your pick. The mic is yours. Please like and share this video, and don't forget to tell a friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel The Controversial Counselor. We are sitting at 862 subscribers, growing at a slow pace, but we are growing. We also have over 220,000 views, so somebody is watching us. Okay, good people, here we are tonight. It was a pleasant day. I don't know, in most cities. I know it was about 85 here in Baltimore.
Ooh,
So it was a little scorcher. The kids came in complaining they was hot, and they cut a fool at the end of the day. I had to break up a fight, and I'm like, man, I'm getting too old for this shit. Getting too old. But lucky the girl was a lightweight. Sometimes you get those thicker girls, and they uh, got a little meat on their bones, but still a little wiry, and they just wild. I didn't really have this, and she's a little lightweight. So once I grabbed her, I kind of folded her up. But hey, my colleagues might be in a different story. That other girl, she was dragging some people. She was getting it in, but uh, that's how it's gonna be. 40 some days left of school. Weather get hot, kids gonna cut up. It's gonna cut up. They figure like, okay, if they're not passing, what the hell do I got to lose at this point? So they they go at it, and that's not just my school. That's probably throughout the country during this time. So parents, I encourage you to tell your kids to finish off strong. If they have any issues, go to an adult, a trusting adult, so they don't get themselves jammed up, possibly for next school year, starting off in an alternative placement, or just this year they may be who knows, about to graduate and can lose that privilege, or moving up day in middle school can lose that privilege. And those are little monumental times that you don't want to lose and get older while you're sitting on the bar stool like, hey, I never went to my high school graduation. I got into a fight a couple months before. Oh, I never made it to my middle school farewell ceremony. Keep them kids in order. And I got some more stuff to say as far as keeping things in order, but I'll just start off there. Big Bad Wolf, aka Ron Washington, what's good with you?
man. Shoot, man. Got headway into the book. Thank y'all for the kick in the pants. Um, I really don't have a whole lot going on, man. The weather's breaking. I got some home projects lined up. You know, um, the couch might be getting moved, unfortunately. So y'all gonna get your wish. I'm sorry. I gotta fold. But got some painting to do, some front porch repairs, some other interior issues as well as exterior issues. So it's gonna be a busy year. Hopefully, by the time the winter sets in, I I got most of what I need to be done, I suppose, done or well on its way. I'm gonna redo the floors in this house and the woodwork. So that door that's behind me to you guys is right, I suppose, or to my left. I'm gonna strip that, so that's gonna come back to its natural woodwork. All the woodwork in here, which is quite a bit actually. Gonna bring this house back to the luster that it once was. So, uh, but I got no complaints, man. Everything's everything. Gonna drop some weight. I got about 70 pounds that I need to get rid of, so I can get back down to the 210-pound range. And it is what it is. I ain't gonna complain about what it ain't, because if I wanted it that way, it would be that way.
All right, all right. So tonight we just decided we had this last week, and we had what was it be called, grab bag before. So every now and then we don't have a certain subject, one specific certain subject that we focus on. Tonight is free. Just whatever's on your mind, whatever's resonating in your heart. It's a lot of stuff going on in today's world, society wise. Community wise, family wise. It's a lot going on. Come on in and sit on the couch. Her pull the couch down so people can come on in and sit on the couch tonight, whatever.
Hey, the couch, man,
let's
that
talk.
couch is, I'm telling you now, man, that couch is comfortable, man. I mean, it is comfortable. I mean, there's really no other way to really put it. I mean, it's comfortable. It is very, very comfortable. Comfortable enough to where you would sit on and fall asleep. It's like being held in your mother's arms as a toddler. Ain't a safer, more comforting place. So
Okay. Well, let me start off. One of the things notice, you know, a lot of people got mixed views on that, on the passing of the great O.J. Simpson. Yes, great. And I'm going to say great O.J. Simpson because I had nothing to do, don't know anything about his personal life other than that, the case that double homicide case years ago. But far as a football player, uh, someone that branded himself, um, kind of out there, representing Black America back in the days as a commercialized black athlete. May he rest in peace. But it's a lot of people. I don't know how you could have anger and vengeance towards somebody that died. They're gone. How is whatever the case may be? How does it impact your life that you're still, you're wishing hate and talking, bad on the situation once someone has passed? So the people like, oh, good, he belonged dead, or he's a piece of shit, and all of that stuff. And you know, and I ain't even trying to get heavy on the trial case or him being proven, not guilty. But it's just the fact that for me, I just got to view him as being the juice on the Buffalo Bills. I remember when I first played football. I remember I had a pair play for the Cataract Football, the All Stars. Got some spikes, and they were white with orange on the bottom, and they were the juice spikes. That's what they were called. They Simpson, the juice. And back then you thought because you wore those spikes, shit, you could be him, you can move like him, whatever. And he had moves, he had all the tools. Growing up, that's one of the first athletes a lot of us identified with when we was playing those games. A lot of people was calling out O.J. Simpson or probably the Juice, and may he rest in peace. You know, condolences to his family and friends and loved ones.
you, you, I I didn't see a whole lot. And sidebar, I actually contemplated wearing his jersey tonight. So let me put that out there just for people who some questions. And I do have two. I have the home white and the road blue. So, but I think part of that is because of what transitioned off the field. Like you said, he's an icon. I don't care what anyone says. He's literally the first black athlete to be shown in mainstream media in a non-athletic way. We know that Jim Brown's has done movies, but OJ was virtually probably one of the first to do the movies in the way that he was doing. We all remember the airplane trilogies. Those were hysterical. But more importantly, no black man, even Sidney Poitier, as great as and renowned as he was as an actor, was filmed by a major sponsor like Hertz. Running through the airport, jumping over luggage to make a flight. Nobody else was doing that in Black America. So people, they kind of looked at him as, how do you get that position over all of these other people? So that was held against him often. I mean, you go back and you look at how he was looked at USC. A lot of people thought he was better than what he was. So there were a lot of people who were angling to bring him back down to earth. And they figured the trial was going to get him. And then when it didn't, they were really pissed. And then they bring up the bogus charges from him so they can get him. And so for me, when I look at the totality of what he did, like you said, on the field, for me, it's two different people. I don't even care about what he did off the field because it didn't impact me. It reminds me of how a lot of people view Kevin Samuels. He did nothing to nobody, but they still hate him. Was glad when he was dead, was singing praises when he's dead. And I was just like, I see your character. I see how you living. And you know what? When you need that help, it won't be forthcoming.
What I find interesting in that is how, now, his posts and his videos are surfacing again. But some of these people were the same ones that was fighting tooth and nail about him, but now they're using his information. And when you brought him up, I never fought it. At first, I didn't know who he was.
Mhm.
Then I listened to it, and I'm like, he makes some valid points. Shit, I got firsthand him roasting what the time that I ended up calling in on his show, but wasn't really paying attention, and he let me have it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
I
that.
shared that with you. It was
I don't
it was
recall. I don't know why I don't.
well, it was one of those things. He had a segment of kind of like what's on your mind, what complaints
Yeah.
do you have, and so I tuned in, and it was on Zoom, but I had, how you can have two
Yeah.
things open
Yeah.
and we always get feedback. So I didn't turn the volume down.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I was watching, I think, basketball or something. Then I heard somebody like, David. And I'm like, I don't know nobody talking to me. Whatever. There's no way possible. And he's like, David. Then I'm like, oh shit. Then I looked to see this, the volume
Yeah.
going up and down. I was like, okay, this is me, whatever. Then he's like, oh, you got any complaints or anything? Then I'm like, I'm trying to cap, just saying, about the broadcast. Oh, we ain't on here for that. We ain't on here for that tonight. Do you got anything you want to complain about? I said, if you want, I can come up with something. No, man, such as, and he kind of went off there. Next thing, he kind of hung up on me. I said, I'm gonna get his ass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get his ass. I'm coming back, but I never got that opportunity. But it wasn't that I was really, that anger that I was gonna get him. Shit, I wasn't on my P's and Q's. That was my opportunity to kick it and have a nice clip with him. And I really wasn't paying attention because I didn't think he was going to pull me up.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't. And that's the thing, it kind of reminds me How about used to call in the WGR, which is a local radio station here in the Western New York area. They cover the Bills, the Sabres, and they tell you when you get to the screener, they tell you be ready. So there's times when I've been on hold 10 to 15 minutes, I would be listening to the radio, which is always delayed. So when you got the there's a transition sound that you hear. It's almost like static, and then you go live. I will always listen for that. I had the phone on speakerphone, so if I was cooking or doing something, I hear it and I knew immediately. So yeah, it's cool to have that. I think what a lot of people realize now is because of revisionist history, they're realizing like what you just stated is that he had a lot of valid points, but because a lot of people didn't tune in when he was addressing men, they thought he was just targeting women. And I recall getting early, when he was making videos in his car, and then how he transitioned from his car to the studio. And I'm telling you, and Dr. Dunbar will testify to this, there was a lot of guys who he took under his tutelage, who were calling. He would read them the riot act. He said, look, you need to be thinking about dating. Pardon my vernacular. You need to be thinking about getting no pussy. You ain't working 60 hours a week. You ain't stacking your money. You ain't spending at least $10,000 a year in professional development. I don't want to hear you asking about women. I don't want to hear you asking about this. I don't want to hear you asking about that. So for the people who only watch clips, who wouldn't sit in and watch a show from the moment his music started to the moment he gave his final salute, I don't know what to tell you other than to say you got half of your information and you're making a full fool of yourselves. Really, honestly. I mean, he chronicled the brother who he had dressed up for a week straight. Suit, shoes. He chronicled how this brother was getting preferential treatment, things for free. And then the brother went back to being inner city dresser, and the treatment was 180. This is why I don't understand why a lot of black men refuse to learn how to tie a tie, to wear a top hat, to do those kinds of things that will have you stand out from the crowd. We got too many young men, too many men, period, that want to wear their pants sagging so you can see what kind of underwear you wear. And frankly, for me, it's quite disheartening because we didn't grow up like that. And I can say that honestly, we didn't grow up like that. When our diapers were hanging off, they got changed. When we went to school, you wore a belt, pants were up around your waist. All of that nonsense did wash. And I know where it comes from, and I'm not going to get into that, but suffice it to say that a lot of what our culture perpetuates now, we need to stop. Period.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, and one of the things that, and I made a post. I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, a stat, and I was saying that the reason why a lot of us struggle in intimate relationships because we never got over trauma. We use emotional numbness uh, to get over that, and that's basically, hey, I admit it. I have used that approach to become numb in certain situations, and like if I block it out or I avoid certain situations, it won't impact me. That only works somewhat. It catches back up to you, and you can figure out ways around it. But we're and not even so much Black America. It should probably overall for a lot of people, we're in a society of a lot of people with emotional numbness that you kind of block out situations. And as far as mental health, it's a lot of people that have mental illnesses. They just haven't been diagnosed.
Mhm.
They haven't went anywhere. So when you think about relationship wise, and some of the tendencies or the behaviors, and you may tell somebody you're bipolar. You you probably need to talk to someone. But everybody, looks at the negative stigmatization of that. Like, I ain't crazy. I ain't crazy. So that's what they thought about. And as a culture, as black people, a lot of a lot of us say, well, no, I'm not going to speak to a counselor or anything because I ain't crazy, and families kind of shun against that. Like, no, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You just gotta pray. We'll go to church. Maybe we could talk to the pastor and all that. That shit ain't work. It ain't work. It ain't been working. It ain't gonna work. Not saying that sitting in front of someone, a counselor or anything, because in those cases, you gotta want to do it. You
Right.
got to want to do it. No one has to drive you or pull your hand. So when women and men get into it and they're like, you know what, you got some issues to work out. We need to go to therapy. I'll stay with you if you decide to go to therapy with me. And you may catch Tommy Tucker, the neighborhood sucker, that say, okay, I'll go. But the shit's not going to be effective because he probably really doesn't want to be there. So it's a whole lot to that. But again, we're a society filled with a lot of people that got a lot of emotional numbness. And over the years, we just learn to cope and survive. But is it really helping us? It all comes out. We always talk about sweeping stuff under the rug, dust under the rug. That should come up one day. Some way, somehow it comes up. That's
And,
that.
and I'll follow that up with this. I often say, acknowledgement to Black Ram 313 when he talks, when he hosts his podcast, the first thing he do is say, welcome to another podcast, you know, yada, yada, yada. This is therapeutic. And I will say this. Monday nights for me is a therapy session. Really, and it's not glorified. It's a therapy session because I talk about some things that I want to get off my chest. And it's not necessarily that they're stressful, but they're things that I just want to air out and vent. And sometimes that's what we need to do. And if you need to go to a therapist to do that, do that. I know my stance on therapy in terms of professional um people, but don't allow someone else's stance to dictate how you live, what you do. You need to develop your own roadmap for your path in life because your path is not going to always mirror. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say always. Your path is never going to mirror exactly what someone else did. You might have to do something slightly different and be okay with that. There is nothing wrong with making something differently than somebody else. So long as the results are beneficial to you, we have too many people in this world that want to do the exact same thing, the exact same way somebody else did. And then when they don't get the results, they go and they ask that person, they say, well, why didn't I get the results that you did? And it's simple because you're not them. I can't do what David does. And I don't think David will try and do what I do because we're two different people. But that don't mean we can't bounce the ideals off of each other and say, what did you do when this happened? Well, I did this and this, yeah, but it won't work for me. All right, well, try this. There's always a way to accomplish something, provided that you want to accomplish that. But you have to have an end game for your accomplishments. And once you do that, you can set about charting your path to that final destination. But a lot of people don't have a final destination. So what path you make doesn't matter. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And that's where a lot of people are. Get a destination. Find out what it is that you want to do. And then chart a path to that.
Yeah. And to go on further that with the theme of, mental health, um, one of the things also with our young people, and we kind of brought this up and touched on it a couple weeks ago, even maybe last week, even about the usage of them using drugs, smoking weed and stuff.
That's
And as I go back and I think about things and I think about people that smoked it on a regular basis, you know, we would try to say that it was more recreational for us, but I think if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, if somebody was doing that every day, all day, they were suffering from something.
yeah.
Probably depression.
Mhm.
Probably depression, and they wasn't comfortable with certain situations, or could have been like a social phobia. They needed to be they needed to feel a certain way to be around people. They needed to feel even kids in school needed to be high to come to school, or would it kept whatever the case is. Maybe that helped numb the situation. Maybe they wasn't academically astute as others, but a lot of those people, if you think about it, um, probably was going through depression,
Yeah.
which in this generation we know they are,
Yeah.
and they're taking it to a different level, to the point that a lot of young people are. Not saying it didn't happen back in our days, but now with so much going on and so many things, things being laced with fentanyl and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
kids, their parents probably need to check on it. Check on it. See, one of the things we think, oh, my son or daughter doesn't come out the room. They just go in the room. When they come home, they only come out and grab something to eat. They're going through something. They're
Hmm.
probably depressed.
Hmm.
They're probably depressed. But you may look at it as, oh, well, go on in there, play your game, do what the hell ever. They barely speak to you. They barely speak to any members. Their grandmother could be sitting there. They'll come in the house. Don't say nothing to her. Don't give her a hug. Do anything, and they go about their business. They're going through something.
Yeah.
And a lot
You
of
know,
times, we're as parents, we may be going through something, and you just, they'll be all right. They just stupid. Don't worry about them. But you don't know the impact down the road, how things are going to get worsened, um, unless it get corrected at that time, or you have a conversation with them. And then a lot of times parents don't like, well, there ain't no need to talk to them. They don't want to talk to me. They don't say nothing to me, or whatever
yeah.
the case is. If it's to that point that they don't talk to you at all, it's some severe shit probably going on in their mind, and you need to figure it out, find a way to make it work, because what you don't want to do is get that phone call or that knock at the door that
Right.
something they was somewhere and they overdosed, or whatever the case is. There's always warning signs. We always talk about there's always red flags to situations. So that's that.
Yeah. And I've, unfortunately, I'm gonna mention this, so I do so with all the tech that I can muster. I had a coworker whose daughter met an unfortunate fate that Dave just mentioned, and I'll leave that at that, because I don't want anybody to think I'm being unsympathetic, or them in it at any rate. And we've talked about, the Sunday dinner that we used to have as people, especially in the minority community. Sunday dinner was that day where Big Mama cooked. Everybody came through. Everybody came through. I know a foster home that I used to stay in. Even when I left, I was always welcome at her house. Always come over to get a plate, big old glass of Kool-Aid, sweet, eat, pass right out like I was still staying there. For me, personally speaking, that was one of the things that A, kept me grounded, B, kept me out of trouble, and C, most importantly, where I could go and I knew I had another family that cared enough about me and my well-being. A lot of these kids, just simply put, they don't have that. So when they leave school and they go home to a less than stellar home, one parent who's stressed, whether male or female, and they see no end. It's the monotony, day after day. The hopelessness grows by leaps and bounds. And then they come to school, and the teacher, principals, or administration has to figure out what is wrong, in addition to teaching about 20 some odd other students. Everybody decries, and I was on my man Solomon's post, and there was a young man who was, young man relatively speaking, banging on teachers and the school districts, excuse me, about what they don't do and how they don't teach well. Well, damn. Let me see you juggle, then cook, and make sure you don't drop anything when you're juggling. We are tasking teachers, school administrators, and educational professionals with things that we did not have to, well, they didn't have to deal with in situations that we weren't in 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Because our parents, regardless of the situation, they understood that as kids, we needed care. We needed to be paid attention to. We need to be known where we were. The old adage, when the street lights on, you get your ass home. That was for a reason. I can't tell you how many times I see teenagers coming to my place, 15, 16, 17, during the summer, out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That didn't happen until we were out of high school. And if it did happen, you were sitting on your friend's front porch and you didn't go anywhere. That was if you got to be that lucky to stay out that late, because some of us were latchkey kids. And in the summer, we knew enough not to be running around getting in trouble. The worst thing that a lot of us did my age was they drink the Boone's Farms and the Mad Dog 2020. They got drunk, got a hangover, passed out, went back home. That was it. Like David said, these kids are getting into marijuana, and I'm here to tell you, a lot of this stuff is not what we had growing up. We have Narcan at my job. When I saw that, I said, it's real. And for those of you who don't know what Narcan is used to bring people out of drug-induced overdoses. So when my place of employment gets Narcan, and I don't know if schools have it, but it's real. We need to get back to communities where we sit out on our porch, the kids come out, put these damn cell phones down, hide and seek, jump rope, double dutch, whatever it is. We need to get these kids back to playing and associating with each other so they're not strangers. How many of us listening to the show now live or will listen to the show could go on and speak to 4 or 5 of your neighbors and you know them by name? Can we do that? I know I can, because when I first moved into this neighborhood, I made it a point to know who my neighbors were. Most of us don't know that. So how can we expect these kids to have any kind of network? To where they come in and say, can I go to such and such house? And you know who they are. You say, sure. They literally have no recourse. And then we wonder why they turn to drugs. We wonder why they abuse alcohol. Because they don't have anything else. They have no one else. And especially in the summertime when they have idle time, oh hell's gonna break loose in some places. You see these kids running around unsupervised, and then the police got to deal with the police are only going to deal with them one way. And it's regardless of what ethnicity they are, because we can make the assumption that it's only happening in minority communities. Guess what? Fentanyl is running through everybody, especially them. Really, it's really hitting them. So whether you're Native Black American or African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, Native American Indian, we need to start looking at this country, where we are and where we want our kids to be when they get to be our age, if they get to be our age. Teachers, whether you think they're responsible for the education um environment or not, they are only a component. I've said this before when I ran for school board. There's three components to a kid's life: home, school, and the community. Most of these kids' homes are destroyed. They're not adequate. The communities are failing. So if they only have school, they have absolutely nothing. We need to give them something. Stop relying on the schools to do what you need to be doing as a parent and larger part of the community.
All right, all right. I see what's going on. Black Ernie said you guys should do a segment on fixing people credit and getting business credit loans from these banks. I bet they won't be depressed then. We gonna address that. And we dibble and dabble in some of the stuff about finances, but that's definitely, well, we always talk about financial literacy, that kids need to be taught some of that. They need finances taught in schools. They need social skills, all that other ancient stuff. It's a different time. It's a different time. And the reason why we can say it's a different time, because people always try to throw, well, they should know their history. They should know this, British. These kids don't give a fuck about that.
No.
And you got to make it relevant for them during this time. What they would be interested in business loans and how to do that, because a lot of them have that spirit that they want to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
And many of them are, gaining advantages because of social media and getting huge followings and things of that nature. So we do know that these kids love technology and they're creative. And if they had a system in place, oh, they'll be all for it. But you got to get them to that point, because they, you know, people often say it's a microwave society, that they don't want to put in the work, but during that process you got to make it engaging for them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make it engaging for them, and show them, like, listen, this is what you do to get a loan. If you want to start your business, you start off from here. We're going to work on a business plan. And I bet you a lot that homework will be completed, and that shit will be tight when it's time to, okay, do your presentations and all that. I bet you they PowerPoints and shit like that will blow all of our PowerPoints. The shit they will probably come up with.
Yeah.
You probably sit there and be like, wow, I can't believe they just put that together. These kids are talented, smart, witty, and because they got more stuff in their hand, they got access to more stuff that we didn't have. So, but you definitely on point with that, Black. Now, I want to go back to something you said. You was like about the street lights and all that stuff. Yeah, listen, yeah, not just girls, but you barely ever see boys. Y'all need to, and maybe it ain't happening in that area, but I know every freaking other day, I get an alert on my phone that is some girl missing, some teenager missing. Y'all better do something about it. Y'all better value these little, not saying you don't value boys, but again, like I said, it ain't little boys that's ended up missing. It's girls. And y'all better do something about it, because y'all get real loose when the weather break. Because I can tell you, I can go to the store and it's lights on, and like last night, I just took a late walk, and I'm walking around and I'm like, why ain't these kids in the fucking house? And they look like they middle school age, and they out there, a gang of them, boys and girls, and the girls twerking and all of that stuff. And I'm like, and they parents clueless. But then they wonder why, when somebody come in that white van and scoop them up, you on the news, begging and pleading for them to bring your baby home, but your ass didn't do due diligence to say, hey, eyeball supervision. If you're gonna be outside, and if I can't see you,
Yeah.
then you out of bounds. You out of your area. Cause that's what we grew up on.
Mhm.
If no, don't get me wrong, we would go over to Ontario. We would take chances, but we covered each other's back. It was enough of us that you was never like traveling home alone. It was enough of us. But somehow, some way, these little girls they keep getting picked up by somebody. And like I said, every other day, I just read one today. Some 14-year-old is missing, and when they describe it, oh, she was wearing gray and a hoodie. That's another thing. I ain't never been big myself wearing hoodies. These kids, you got to tell them they can't. You got to be able to identify yourself. Other than that, no one could get a complete description if they walking around with just hoodies on, and somebody decides to scoop them up. You can't even say, well, no, she had her hair was like burgundy, or she had streaks in her hair, or whatever the case is. When these kids travel, you got to make sure that it's something that they stand out, something that makes them stand out. Because other than that, people gonna like, well, shit. We see a ton of kids with hoodies on, walking around, or whatever the case is. But y'all better tighten up. Y'all better tighten up. Your parents better tighten up. Eyeball supervision. If I come out and step on the porch and your ass ain't nowhere around, your ass is grass, and I'm the lawnmower. But too many of y'all don't know what y'all doing, but all it takes is a second for them to get scooped up. And after a while, you ain't got to worry about them coming back, because more than
Yeah.
likely they dead. Uh, so y'all better take heed to that shit for real.
Yeah. And I know, everybody has come to rely on technology. Well, all I got to do is air tag them this or this. That's not what you think. That's not going to accomplish the goal, as David said. Eyes on Will. Simply put, if I can see you, if I can hear you, I know where you are. You can text me from anywhere. You can call me from anywhere. If I have an air tag on you, it may not necessarily register the exact place where you are. And if I lose my phone, then heaven forbid, or your kid lose the phone, then heaven forbid, you really are you just shit out of luck. So this is why we talk about the community, because that's where your strength lies. Put these phones down. Get with your kids. Get with your neighbors. Even if you got to start small with one or two people, sit out on your porch, get together, buy some hot dogs, buy some hamburgers, have a little cookout, go buy you some little juicy juices or whatever you got to do. But it needs to start, because these kids aren't ready. They're not prepared, and they're incapable of handling the freedom that their parents are giving them, just because there's too many dangerous and potentially dangerous situations out here for them. Hell, most adults can't handle them. So how do you expect a 14-year-old kid to handle them, whether they're male or female? And believe it or not, some of these males are in worse shape than the females, because they walking around just wide-eyed in a store full of candy, and they don't know which one they want to grab first. We see a regression in the maturity of these kids, mainly because they've never had to be responsible for nothing. Mainly because they're allowed to come and go when they want to. Mom, I'm going here. Mom, I'm going here. Text me when you get there. What? Text me when I get there? Wait a minute. What do you mean text? That's not responsible parenting. And you can come at me, ask me about the kids I have and this and that. I don't have any. But I tell you what, I've been responsible for taking people's children not only out of town, but out of state. So you can come at me sideways with it. I got receipts on how well the kids have done when they were with me. So I'm not talking on my ass. I'm talking facts. I'm talking what works. I'm talking what people need to do. So if you ain't doing it, get your ass in gear and do it.
Oh, yeah. Where y'all at? Where y'all at, panel? I know y'all got some gripes. I know y'all got some concerns. If y'all want the link, come on. Another concern. Piece of shit ass supervisors at these jobs. Again, we talking about kids that work with kids, owners, and all of that. Listen, you got to give kids grace. You got to work with them. You got to guide them. You got to school them. You just can't take for granted that they know everything. Or, they've been working here for 5 or 6 months. I shouldn't have to tell them what to do. What? Are you fucking kidding me? You still have to tell adults what to do on the job. So what do you think a 14, 15-year-old is going to do? There's been times I done went there, and I could tell you, this was years ago when I worked at the high school level, and I just happened to stop at Wendy's, and one of my students was there, and that manager was, he was a stupid motherfucker. Like, huh? What? Like, and when they came back to school, so you see what I'm saying, Mr. Glover? You see what I'm saying? This is how she talk or act every day. Listen, that ain't acceptable. That ain't acceptable. And I don't care if you're a parent or whatever, and you have to go up there or you have to do something to report these people. When you hiring these kids, you're training them for the future. You giving them work experience, keeping them off the streets. They getting a little paycheck. They learning a little autonomy, whatever. Like, oh, I can do this or do that. I ain't got to ask dad or mom for this. Teach them, cultivate them. We don't need you miserable ass people above them supervising them, but you're calling them idiots and things like that. Do you really think somebody gonna move for you at the job? No, they just gonna stand around. They ain't gonna do shit. And they gonna wait and they gonna wait, punch out, get their check and all that. They only gonna move when they feel like it's in there, you got their best interest at heart. And all too often we see that. We have to, the jobs that these kids have, we have to keep them employed and keep them working, and so that they can understand that. A lot of times, kids can't even get. Some of them can't even get jobs.
Yeah.
Or, down here, one of the things they're saying, "Oh, are they 18? 18." Like, shit, that means you should damn near finish high school. No, kids need to, once they could get working papers, 14, 15, you need to put them in these grocery stores, fast food spots, whatever, so they can, by the time they get 18, they got 2-3 years under their belt of working, and they ready to learn responsibility. I got it all wrong. I don't know who decide the shit that be coming up with it, but, and then y'all wonder why they out here robbing, stealing, doing shit. It ain't, a lot of times it's younger people that's doing that.
Yeah.
Delinquents, juvenile delinquents, because they don't have nowhere to go. Because y'all want to close up recreation centers, have budget cuts and all that. Then y'all don't want them. They don't have no job to go to. So what y'all think they're gonna do? What you think when somebody bored and got an idle one? What you think they're gonna do? Sit around as a group and say, "Hey, let's do this." We did some stuff back in our days, and we had parents that work and all that. Again, Grace Glover, mind your business on what we did, but we did stuff. And she knows about it. We told her a lot of stuff that we did, and it kind of blew her mind. And she was like, "I can't believe y'all did that. You worked 3 to 11, and we did stuff, but we only did so much."
Yeah.
That we wouldn't get in trouble,
right?
Where it wouldn't damage the reputation of our parents, grandparents, and all that. A lot of these kids, they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
So we have to have better systems in place. And I know on here talking, we only can hope that it reach somebody and they say, "Hey, they made a good point," or whatever the case is. But when you got a kid on the job, you can't expect them to just know everything. Actually, you probably need to write stuff down
Hmm.
and have a list for them to do
Hmm. Hmm.
every day when they enter in there. Such and such, uh, little Melvin, Tyrone, you on the grill, this is what you do step by step. But you know why they won't do it? Because it requires work. So they think they automatically supposed to just know it. And especially for boys need direct instruction.
Yes.
Girls, they kind of they can navigate. You tell them something, they know how to run a household. They know how to do this, and they could be younger. They could you could have a 12-year-old girl and a 14-year-old brother, and the 12-year-old like, well, we need to do this.
Hmm.
Remember, mom said do this, and the
Hmm.
boy playing this game and doing this. Well, I'm gonna tell because when she come and she asks about this, and they on point. Boys need direct instruction, step by step,
Yeah.
on what they need to do. Not all, but a majority of them. So at jobs, if you're a supervisor, whatever case is, give them instructions step by step. Because other than that, they might sit around. They might not do, they'll follow the lead of everybody else. But it's important that they work and get experience under their belt. It keeps them off the street. And mainly more thing that they start making their own money. Then they start appreciating, like, man, I got this, I got that. It's always nice for somebody to have money on their own without having to ask somebody for it.
Yeah, and to follow up with what Dave was talking about in terms of getting the younger people employed, and they can't get jobs. We know that newspapers, they're a thing of the past. So penny savers, they're a thing of the past. Um, a lot of the boys are never going to get jobs babysitting. We already know that. So what can a community do to help with employment for juveniles, say 12 to 17? Y'all can start pooling your money. It's immaterial how much you pool. Start. And communities where you get bottles and cans, you can redeem them. Do so. Start putting that money together. Go buy lawnmower equipment, landscaping equipment, shovels. And I'm going to reference what Ernie said. Show them how to set up businesses. Show them how to. It'll lose me right now. Show them how to set up. What's the I want to say LC. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank right now. Show them how to set up 401c3s. Show them how to set up all of that stuff. And if you don't know, go to your Better Business Bureau. Seek out classes. Take them with you so they can sit down and they can learn the ins and outs of contracts, businesses, LLCs. Thank you, Herb. Show them how to set up LLCs. That way they can say, that way, excuse me, when they get 14, 15, 16, they got a few years under their belt. So they know deadlines, they know they have to be on time because that's their money. So if they're on time and they're working, all of a sudden now, like David said, they start to understand the value of a dollar. So instead of being frivolous, they're gonna say, okay, you know what? I know I want this, so I need to save for this. I have to do this to get this. So how many hours do I need to get this? And all of a sudden now you start to see them start to become independent, not because of their age. They become independent because of their experience and because of their know-how, which is what you want. Then you start to see the maturation and the development. And before you know it, when these kids get to be high school seniors, they say, hey, look, Rob, come here, man. We've been doing this shoveling, this leaf raking, and things of this nature for about 4 or 5 years. We got about $5,000 set aside. Let's go into business together. Or they can branch out and go get a trade. Start an HVAC company. Start an electrical company. Start a plumbing company. All of those things can be taught, learned, at a young age. I was talking about this about a month ago, and I tagged Dave in the video they were talking about. All the stuff they can learn starting at home, how to use tools, how to measure, how to cut, all of that stuff. Those are skills that literally pay the bills. So think about it. When these young men get to be 25, 26, they could own a company, clearing about 60-year profit after they paid their overhead, got a couple workers, and they're young. They can go out and acquire some property. They become a pillar in the community, and they only 30. So they can reach back, take the little OGs that's coming up, or the little young G's that's coming up and say, hey, young man, you out here in the street, man. Why you running around? Well, I ain't got nothing else to do. Come with me. Where's your mother at? Let me go talk to your mother. You meet their mother, you say, hey, my name is such and such. I own a company. I want to take the little man with me. He's gonna be with me from 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. We're gonna feed him. We're gonna make sure he stay out of trouble. We're gonna put a few pennies in his pocket. Here's my number, here's my business card. If you have any concerns, call me. All of a sudden now you get that little man around other men who are productive, who are doing things. He stays out of trouble, he gets some money. Guess what? You think he's not gonna want to come with you? He's eating, he's safe. Mom has a little less to worry about. She can calm down so she's not so uptight that when he comes home, and then he can go play his little game. He can go do all those little things. Or if he want to, he can go hang out with his friends. And they can say, well, where you at during the day? He say, I'm working. Working where? Well, with Andre. Andre's got a little company. He comes, picks me up at 6:30. I eat, I clean up, I make sure the tools are clean. They give me $10 a day. They give you $10 a day. That don't sound like a lot of money. And really, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't. But it's $10 of their money. And if they're doing that 5 days a week, they're getting $50. They got $100. All of a sudden, at the end of the summer, they got about $3,600. Now, that's decent money. That's more money than some adults are making in a month. So now that they got this money, they say, hey, look, you know what? I can do this after school. But you have to put the stipulation in there. Hey, look, I don't mind if you work. But your first job is to make sure you're getting decent grades. So now they understand that I have two jobs. I have one that pays me, and I will have one that's going to teach me. Both are necessary. Do them both simultaneously, and the reward will be in the future. But like David said, they have to see something tangible in order to believe it. And when they start to see something tangible, like David said, especially the boys, they can go out and do it themselves. They're going to get it out the mud because they want it. You ain't going to have to worry about them getting caught up in weed smoking, running around with scofflaws, derelicts, like David said. My memory's going tonight. Juvenile delinquents. You won't have to worry about them being like that. Because that's what a lot of us did when we had our summer jobs. We worked. We weren't hanging out in the streets, and we knew that we had to be home, get into bed to get up to get that check. And guess where we were? We were home in bed, waiting to get up that morning. Unfortunately, the kids don't have the summer jobs because the budgets aren't there. Like David mentioned, the budget cuts. But the communities, you have to get together. Like I said, homeschool a community. Get together. Start pooling your money. So that money goes in those kids' pockets so they can stay out of trouble.
Well, the one thing I can say, you know, you got to understand game, and you got to understand how to for kids to manipulate situations. You got to understand math. So I can remember, and I probably shared this before, that I worked a summer job, and I knew. And at the time, we had to clean up around the Highland Avenue area, chop
Mm-hmm.
down weeds, pick up bottles, and all that. And I knew that shit wasn't for me. And we would do it, and it would be scorching hot.
Yeah.
And the supervisor we had, You know, he wasn't always the most appropriate supervisor, but he had he had the habit of, wanting a little taste of wild Irish rose uh, during the day. So one of the things he said one day was, "Hey, any of y'all, if y'all give me $1.10, y'all can when we go home, when we go to lunch, we break for lunch, y'all can go home and y'all can just meet us back at the office to sign out at the end of the day. So you pretty much work half a day, got paid for a full day." Well, math was my thing. So I said, so wait a minute. So you said it costs 110, and so is this just the 1 day thing? Like, is just for today? And like, nah, this shit. How long? How long y'all gonna be working this program? And and I think I did it a week at a time. I said, shit, here go 550 right here. I'm out. I'm only working half a day. I would go home, chill, and then meet them at the office. Our office was at Unity Park somewhere. So I knew when they would be walking like to the office because we would sign out at 4:30. So I would leave the house like 4:20, and then I would meet up with them, and then we all sign out. I only worked half a day. I said, shit, well, if this the program I could have, I'm gonna give you 550 at the beginning of the week. But again, somebody was in my business. I think she was on vacation or something. My mother, at the time, she might have been working 7 to 3, and she might have been on vacation. And she like, hey, ain't you supposed to be at work? Yeah, I am at work. Well, why you ain't going back in there? I was like, and I told her the deal, and she's like, well, that don't make no sense, whatever. He's supposed to be kind of schooling y'all and teaching y'all, and here he is trying to get money from y'all so he can drink some wine or whatever the case is. And I'm like, hey, it worked. I got paid. Mind your business. Hey, so I worked that program there because I knew that wasn't for me. I can't. This ain't. This. I don't like this type of work. But I
Yeah.
knew I had an obligation to work so I could buy me school clothes
Yes.
and things of that. But remember, and that saying probably came out as we got older. Work. You know, don't work smart, not work hard.
Yeah.
And I worked smart. I said I'm only gonna work half a day, but I'm gonna get paid a full day. But I'm gonna give the supervisor what he needs because he needed that taste. Here you go, that 550. So I pretty much walked down that program without only working half of the time. Shout out to me for being assertive on that.
Yeah, man. There's a. I mean, we literally could carry on about the opportunities that kids don't have versus what we have, and how we can help you know these kids. And also, if you can't get the money together, you got a group of single mothers, y'all can't get their mother, establish a program and solicit funding. Cash App is out there. I know most of y'all walking around with phones. Get a bank account, set it up, ask people, your local church, ask. All they can tell you, excuse me, is no. But do it, and do it in earnest, because the longer you wait, the more these kids are at risk. We're gonna move on to I'm trying to figure, do we want to do smash and dash or cuffing season? Or can we do them both?
Well, one of the things is, I had put out a thing about uncuffing season, and people like, what's that? More details. It's simple. You know the root words. Un means not cuffing. That it's the weather's breaking. Um, and again, we always talk about those Melvins and stuff like that. That Once it hit April, May, he's probably up out of there.
Yep.
He's free agent.
Mhm.
Uh, so, and I know most people will say, "Oh, well, that's just childish. That's immature." Some of y'all 50 and over, and y'all still running into these same issues. Yeah, and the problem is, people often like to say it's only Facebook, it's only social media. That's probably one of the biggest lies, the biggest hypocrites ever. Too many of y'all use that as y'all personal diary or journal to say it's only Facebook. That shit is real for well, there's a lot of people that fake jacks and pretend like they are some, but there are people that use that as a live platform and they post every interaction or everything they do throughout the day. So how could it not be real? It's real, real time for many people. And yeah, it just blows. I kind of lost my train of thought, whatever. But it kind of blows my mind that people, come with that approach and will say like, well, um, that's not real. It doesn't happen. Again, there's people in their 50s, 60s that they run into guys that pull this off
Mhm.
every time, and that's what they do. And what is it called? What they say? Homosexual or whatever
Yep.
the case
Mhm.
is. There's guys that do that. So uncuffing season happens probably around May, April, May when the weather get break. He don't need you. He don't have to be in there no more. He could now it's time, the sundress season and things like that. Getting up out of there. He getting up out of there, seeing what's the better options. Now, what many of you fall victim to is loneliness, and he'll come back and use you as a last resort, and you'll open the doors. And maybe in this a case that he may have children by you,
Oh
or
yeah.
you have children by him. Uh, he knows that you don't really have nothing going on like that. But that's a whole nother argument that go back and forth about who has more options, men or women, or nobody wants no younger woman wants no 50 and older man and all this type of stuff. So that's a whole nother argument. I just wanted to lay it out there. Go ahead, Herb, on the uncuffing season.
The funny thing about uncuffing season is it coincides with the almost the end of tax season. And like David says, some people get lonely, and he come around, he lay that good wood for a couple months. He's sitting home, eating up the kids' snacks, drinking the juice boxes, and he's like, okay, it's April. Oh hell, we done had the eclipse. I done got a sign from the gods. It's time to get up out of here. He don't know where he's going. He just know he's going because he's gotten his use out of you, if you will. But he knows that you might be lonely. You might cry yourself to sleep at night. So he knows he can always come back. He knows that sometimes you want to go out and you need a babysitter. Well, you trust him with your kids. You already know what he does. You know he's dependable. So you let him back in. You get home a little tipsy. He's sleeping on the couch. All of a sudden, now he's like, I'm not sleeping on this lumpy old couch. You go slide in the bed, and next thing you know, the Twinkie got some cream filling. And heaven forbid if there's some fertilization going on, now you got some real problems. So, you know, that whole uncuffing thing, it no pun intended, it can get kind of sticky, kind of messy real quick if you're not careful with what you're doing. So, and there's people that do it. We're not taking shots at the women. There's men that do it too. Some of the men are doing it, with these young fine things. They get caught up. They close to our age, and the women that they know, they say, we know you a one trick pony. All you got is money. You taking Viagra, you overweight, out of shape. You can't keep it up. I don't want nothing to do with you. So you go fishing in the pond where the young people at. You hanging out at the bar with your little drink, trying to holler at the young women, and they smell the desperation, but they also see the dollar signs. They say, "Okay, I'll come home with you, Dad. I'll let you do your thing, but you got to drop some guap first." How you think some of these young women are doing OnlyFans and playing some of these guys? Some of these tenderfoot dudes, they dropping 200-300 for a few pictures, and the hopes she might do something. See, the cuffing season works different for men than it does for women. For women, it can be physical, doesn't necessarily have to be. For the men, they want it to be physical. So they get taken advantage of in that regard. So like I said, especially when they're older. Their wife may have died. They might be a widower. They ain't got nothing else to do. They sitting up there with a nice little pension. The young 20 something, 30-year-old female come by. He pop one of the pills. Afterwards, he going to sleep. She out the door. And what does he do? Is either her or the strip club. At least with her, he might get something at the strip club. No bueno. He can be sitting there like Roberto Duran, no mas, because he ain't get nothing.
He blowing up. He blowing up her phone, and she only reaches out when. Let me see. Let me call him and tell him. Come up with something that I had a lot going on. I was stressed out, and he'll fall back in. You go do what you got to do over there. He'll be back in, dropping them ducats, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is fairy tale and again, just because you may say, "Oh, it doesn't." Who are these people? Who do they hang out with? Who are these people y'all know? It could be very well be somebody you real cool with. They don't tell you everything they do. They could be messing with somebody for years and never tell you. And it's an older guy, and you be wondering how the hell she end up with that purse. Oh, she always crying broke, but she stayed when it's time to go somewhere. She stayed with money in her pocket, where she stayed getting her hair done. That's because she got something. She ain't worked overtime or whatever. She didn't. She just got a jump off she ain't told you about. She ain't told you about.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And I'm sure some of you have watched HBO and know about the series they have called Real Sex. Just like people don't know who those people are, y'all don't know who some of the people are next door to you. Like I said, we don't know who our neighbors are anymore. All we know is he's 45, 50. We never see him leave other than to go to work. We never see anybody come over his house. Sundown, sun up to sundown. Shout out to Ron Wills. He talks about this. Some men are 12 to 5. Some females are 12 to 5. Look, I don't want nobody to see me coming over here knowing what I do. So the moment you talk to somebody, I'm done. See, I'm not the only one who believes in the non-disclosure agreement. A lot of people believe in it. They just don't advertise it. I advertise it. I tell you, I'm not talking to anybody about what I do with anyone. These people are strategic. So she may not just be hitting up this dude. She might be hitting up a cat in another town, across town, depending on how big the city is. Hey, she might be doing it with one of your family members. You just don't know. Believe me, it's going down like that. That's why they know more about what's going on in your family than you do. Because after Melvin get done doing, Melvin start getting loose with the lips. You start putting stuff in baby girl ear. Baby girl's like, oh. So when baby girl run up on you, say, yeah, that's okay. I know why your electricity cut off. Don't be alarmed. Don't try to come at her sideways. Your family diming you out. And that's what it is. That all this, you keep thinking that this stuff only happens on TV. Well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of this stuff is going on. A lot of this stuff is real. So Dave used to talk about the layaway plan. What do you think the layaway plan was? Older man setting up the younger woman. So when he gets of age, or when she gets of age, and he gets up a little bit in age, he can say, hey, come through. I got you. You need your car payment made? Come through. I got you. You need some place to sleep for the night? You got it with your boyfriend? Come through. I got you. Big Papa got you. I got the money. You come through. We do what we do. I'm gonna hook you up. I ain't gonna let you suffer. We saw the movie Dead Presidents. What happened there? Think about it.
And the thing is with the layaway plan, don't let the little younger person actually have a crush on that person,
Ooh.
but you know you're off limits until you get a certain age, and then once you're at a certain age, it's on and popping. It's on and popping. And y'all don't, and I know y'all like, "Oh, that's sick, or whatever." You don't know who the hell these little your daughters or whoever they talking to, especially in the world of you don't know who's in their inbox or whatever the case is, messaging them, and they tell you they with this person, but meanwhile they riding around with a Big Papa, Big Melvin, got it on lockdown, set her up for college, bought her books or whatever the case is, got her car fixed, whatever, plowing it down, just waited for her to get a certain age. But this been going on from even from our era when you had the dope boys going up, pulling up, picking up the high school girls, and they 22, 23, and they scooping the 15, 16-year olds, whatever. It's been going on for a while. And parents turned the left cheek because you know what? Sometimes he made it simple for them because she's like, well, I ain't got to worry about buying her school clothes because I know he gonna take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the culture. So I don't got to worry about that. And you may have family members who are like, don't you gotta buy Narquisha school clothes? Oh, I know her. She'll be all right. And they puzzled on why, who's gonna buy it, but she deal with this older cat.
Yeah.
Deal with this older cat that's coming to scoop her up. She 15, he 23, coming to get her from the school.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling up in that caddy with trues and vogues and scooping her up. This culture been around forever.
Yeah. And like David said, if I'll take it a step further. If you in college and one of your real good friends, whether male or female, don't go to any frat parties and going out on the weekend, and they're not working, they working. Just not the traditional job that gives out a W-2. They collected. They ain't paying no taxes. They might be getting taxed or they might be handing out some tax. Most people that go to college, unless they really just on that level of a studiousness, they out partying. And you don't never see them out partying. Not even once. But they're not crying broke. They seem to have a few extra dollars. So when the end of the semester roll around and people scrounging for food, they okay. Their laundry's done. Especially if it's a guy, his laundry's done. He's got food. He ain't looking rugged. He ain't looking rough. He got him a missus, and she's taking care of him. I'll tell you that from experience. Dr. Dunbar, what's up, good man?
What's going
Hold on, fellas. I
man?
had to come up and join the Hat Club for a minute. Now, this stuff about Melvin, I don't know what y'all talking about. That's a whole nother level of the game. I grew up in the Buffalo. I was sheltered, so I don't know what Melvin and Keisha, and I don't know about all that. That's North Ave. That's LaSalle. That's LaSalle. That's Gaskell.
UB, Canisius.
What's going on, fellas? Hey. So normally I'm kind of winding down about this time, so I'm in the bed watching y'all. But David, you said folks come up, so I thought I'd come up for a few minutes. But who said what happens on Facebook is not real? They must not know Willie Price speaks. Every morning I open up Facebook, there's a new meme with that guy going like this with some kind of crazy story Willie done concocted every day. Who says Facebook is not real?
It's real. It's real.
Man, you got some people that
every day there's a new lady taking a shot, taking a picture of herself at the gym, turning up her side like this.
Yeah.
On the stories. Every day, same thing. Who says Facebook isn't real?
They like to say that, like it's only Facebook. Like, y'all kidding me? This is everything to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Willie ain't the only one posting them. If you ask her out, who should pay? How many times should you pay? How much is too much money to spend? Willie ain't the only one. Ain't the only meme bandit on there. Facebook ain't real. Shoot.
You got some people that is their sole purpose for existing on Facebook. And the funny thing about that is this. They're getting people that follow them just because, and those people who are following them actually are trying to date them. And their profile says, I'm just here as a shit starter. I'm here as a meme poster. That's it. And it's just like, okay. But you get people who can't separate fact from fiction, and they buy into it. And next thing you know, they done created a caricature that they done fell in love with. And they chasing that figment. Now, the caveat is this. What happens when that figment actually responds? And they done got themselves caught up and they say, oh, wow. They chose me to respond to, but they don't respond to anybody. All of a sudden now, they open. And that not so real becomes real. So they get this dude in there. He hook, line, and sinker. He's a largemouth bass on a reel. And he gets set up to get robbed. All because he done thought he was the one. And for people who say that don't happen, if you don't think so, all you got to do is check out how many people are being set up because they met somebody off of a dating app. Facebook, dating app, Instagram, whatever the other sites is, people are getting set up out here and they're being robbed. So keep thinking it's not real because you don't subscribe to it. But for every person that doesn't, there's somebody that does, like Harold Melvin. I'm sorry, Harold Melvin. Everybody plays the fool. I can't remember his name.
Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville. Thank you. Aaron Neville. Everybody plays the fool sometimes about something. I don't care who you are, how much money you got, where you're born, what you do for a living, your level of education. We all have been had some way, somehow for something. Doesn't matter how trivial it was, how grand it was. We just do. But that's how we learn. And it's no shame in somebody taking advantage of you once because that's human nature. But you shouldn't consistently fall for it. But you have men out here to do. You have women out here to do. Why do you think you have a lot of women with multiple children by two different dudes who fit the same dating profile? They ain't working. They got a kid here. And you think you're going to change them? You got the golden trench? Nah. You just the next fool in line. Waiting to have some cream filling added to your Twinkie. And when you get it, Don't complain about it. The same thing for a guy. We see it with the athletes. These young athletes getting taken advantage of. The one dude, I can't remember his name. He's 26 or whatever. No, was it 26? And he got the kid by the single mother who has a daughter his age, and now she about to get paid for child support.
Was that Jalen Green?
Yes.
The Rockets?
Y'all keep thinking this.
He only about like 21, 22.
I was something like I knew it was young.
Yeah, he really
But
young.
y'all keep thinking what y'all see in terms of social media content ain't real. There's people out here being had. And a lot of people are being had for big dough. Just big dough. Hopefully it's just money. Hopefully it's nothing, more serious than that, where somebody's hurt. The money, the money we can say, all right, he got took for some dough. Hopefully he learned his lesson. But like David said earlier, with the young girls just being kidnapped, we don't want to see anybody harm. This is why we put this information out here. Hey, treat this as real. It's like we used to have bus pass. And they would tell us when we went to high school, treat your bus pass like it's cash. Well, it's only a bus pass. If you lose it, you get another one. Yeah, but what happens in the meantime if your parents don't have a car and you need to get to school? Bus fare, I think, was like maybe 85 cents. But hell, we already talked about the poverty in our communities. We didn't have an extra $5 in around to where you can get to school and then back home. You just didn't.
Well, Herb, the social media stuff, that's just the stuff you publicly see. I mean, you can't see all the DMs and the yo, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. And believe me, as they say, a lot go down in the DMs. And I ain't talking about Delaware, Maryland either. I'm talking about the direct messages, because this is the funny thing about what people say social media is or isn't. You don't know what might trigger somebody, what might interest in somebody. So you got somebody who's got the gift of gab. And if they can figure out the personality of a person they're targeting, and they get that right message, and they get them the call, oh hell, that's Jimmy Crack Corn. It's on the popping. And I know, because I'm a slightly silver-tongued devil, and I'm good with the pen. I'm good with written words. Now, I'm not saying I'm out here picking up women and doing nefarious things to women, because that's not my nature. But I have ingratiated myself into a lot of women's lives via direct messaging. I've also been rebuffed. So I'm on both sides. The only difference is I have never been had, because I ain't chasing stuff like that. Now, like I said before, I have started relationships via direct messaging, and some of those relationships have become physical. No money exchange, just the fact that we liked each other enough to actually do what Olivia Newton-John sang about. We got physical. So it happens. Just because you don't know about it, you don't hear about it, doesn't mean it ain't going down, or in some cases, going up.
Yeah. And for those people who don't believe it, and they may say, well, no guy never inbox me like that or approach me like that. Some guys are strategic, and they kind of watch what you post, and they understand. So they say, nah, this ain't it. And, because people post shit like one of those things like, who up now? You're a woman, and it's like 1 a.m. Who up, or whatever the case is. Yeah, I don't think that's a giveaway that you lonely or something. But I've talked about this before, and that don't mean nothing. You could just be bored, Dave. Y'all look way more into it than it is. Not that serious. Oh, it's that serious.
Yeah,
it's that serious, because you don't know the conversations that may go on after that. I'm just saying,
y'all just spending too much time online.
Well, this is the thing, and I'll follow up what Dave was saying. I have never known an individual to go fishing and put their line in the water without looking to catch a fish. That's what that message, that 1 o'clock post is. They looking for the big angler. And if the big angler bites, guess what? They reeling them in. They reel them in like Red on Shawshank Redemption. They reeling them in. That's what that is. It's a feeler. Now, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, I'm just bored. Okay. Read a book. Watch a movie. Do some laundry. Clean your house.
So many things to do. Yeah.
No. They looking for either they looking to have some cream filling in the Suzy Q or the cream filling in the Twinkie. Yeah. However it is, that's what they're looking for. Now, unfortunately, they can't find it because if you find the people in the relationship, they ain't posting that. They sleep. You find people that work midlights like myself, we ain't posting that. We at work. So generally, you find the people who aren't doing anything, and that does not mean that they are not productive. It just means that that particular point in time, they're looking for something. Generally speaking, when you look, ye shall find.
People trying to catch out here. They trying to catch.
Yeah.
They're trying to leave little messages they're trying to catch.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with trying to catch. We just saying that for people to say that it's not real, we're here to tell you it's real. It's real. Just because it doesn't happen to you doesn't mean that it's not happening to anybody else. Matter of fact, my man plays in New York State, they have a lottery system called the Quick Pick or the Pick 3 or Pick 4, whatever it is. It won like $2,000. People say, I never win. Oh, well, you're not him or whatever the case is. But people win in the lottery. People win the Powerball all the time. People say it doesn't happen to me. Well, hell, you're not that person. But we know people win the Powerball. We've seen it. We've seen them come up with lawyers, dummy names to claim the money. They're not telling the partners or friends or families until they get out of Dodge or whatever. It's happening. We need to stop. Well, people, I'm not going to say we. People need to stop burying their heads in the sand to the reality that they don't get to experience just because they don't. It's like somebody saying, you can't dunk a ball. You my height. I can't dunk a ball. You can't dunk a ball. Next thing you know, this person doing windmills and 360s. You're saying, well, damn, how the hell you get to dunk a ball? And I'm the same height and I can't dunk a ball. You're not them. Stop thinking that your reality is everybody else's reality. It simply put, it isn't. Some people are living next door to you doing great things. Don't talk about it. Some people living next to you have done time in prison because you don't go out and speak to them. You don't know about it. People, and this is something I touch on in my book. We are in a transient world. I could be in Japan this time tomorrow. Hop a flight. I'm gone. I could be doing the show from anywhere. Y'all just happen to know what my place looks like. So you say, hey, but if I popped up in a different place, I'd be like, well, damn, where the hell is you? Oh, I'm in California. Where the hell you get to California? I just took a flight. I had nothing to do. I just took a flight. I just wanted to see Hollywood. It happens. People out here doing real things in real time. Believe it.
Okay. Well, hey, I just want to come up for a few minutes, fellas.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, this book writing thing, man. It's finishing it. It's a lot of work. Once you get the edited manuscript back, you got to like finish it. So they say it's always hard to finish something. You can start it, get 90% there, but you got to finish it. But hey, Herb, I'm going to the Michigan spring game on Saturday.
Oh,
yeah. Maybe I had a buddy who told me a couple months ago, hey, we should go to the spring game. And I got my ticket and everything. He said, hey, man, I'm not going. I can't go. So maybe I should do a show on that one time when folks try to get you to go somewhere and then you get all your stuff and you go. And then last minute, they'd be like, I ain't going.
That hurts. I will say this about the book. I'm kind of fortunate in the regard that my book really isn't really long,
Yeah.
and it's not a work of fiction. So a lot of the things that a lot of people have to deal with, I probably won't. The bulk of my book is going to be the questions, and I already know that when people read these questions, they're going to tell me that you can't do this, you can't do that, and I'm going to say, look, I didn't come for you for content. I just want you to edit it, make sure it's readable, no grammar errors, and I'm going to put this book out like this with the mindset. And this is something I was talking to David earlier, that a lot of people are going to read this and they're going to be taken back. I understand that. One of the reasons why I'm putting this out there is so that people understand that one of the things we have the most of in our lives, but we don't want to squander it, is time. Alan Roger Curry, shout out to that man, and the work he did with his books, talked about the manipulative time waster. And that goes for men and women. Do you really want to spend 2 or 3 hours on 4 dates, excuse me, with somebody who's just wasting your time? Most people will say no. But how do you get past that? How do you get to the crux and deal with an individual, or get the information out of that individual that they don't want to give you? That's the difficult part of dating. We always talk about people. Well, you hear people talk about it. I don't. You hear people talking about, well, I'm always meeting somebody's representatives. And I'll tell you why. Because you want to ask those hard questions. You want to ask those questions that let you cut through the minutia to get right to the point to see if you even want this individual around you in any capacity, whether it's friends with benefits, long-term relationship, potential wife or husband, or business partner. People date with no intentions. So even if your intention is sex, make that be known. As soon as you sit down with the individual, whether you're male or female, just say, hey, look, I'm just looking to get my back blown out, or I'm just looking to blow somebody's back out. Like I said, Alan Roger Curry spoke about be upfront, be real, be authentic, be you. But most people can't do that because they don't know who they are. At their core, I want people listening to do this experiment. Guarantee you this will be the results. I want you to ask someone who they are. It's a very simple question. And I guarantee you that most people are going to start with what they do in terms of employment, where they went to school, where they work. I guarantee you, nobody can tell you who they are here because they don't know. They don't know themselves. And when you don't know yourself, you subject to fall for anything. Somebody can tell you some bullshit and you believe it, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. Dude, that's a flat out lie. I can look at your shoes and tell you ain't no lawyer. I can listen to the way you speak and tell you ain't no doctor. I can tell by the way you carry yourself that you don't do X, Y, and Z. But we have people that can't. So when you have people that can't figure this stuff out, and they run into, like I said, the silver-tongued devil, who's good, who's deceptive, next thing you know, the leggings is off, you dancing on the ceiling, and there's a whole lot of Flintstone hometown going on, bedrock, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm just telling you, I see it, I've witnessed it. Call it what you want, but it's real out here. Don't let people on social media fool you with all the pictures that they posted, because a lot of these people, they're not living that type of life.
Well, all right, fellas. I'll talk to you next time.
Guys, thanks for coming up, man.
Yeah, peace.
So one of the things, speaking of that, actually, and I haven't done this in a while. One of my friends, actually, she was on here about a month ago. The relationship
okay.
therapist page is having an event, and this is in the more of the DMV area, DC, Baltimore area, and it's called Cocktails and Convo. And I'm gonna actually be one of I'm going to be the co-host. So I'm just going to read you what was said on here. She said, I'm absolutely ecstatic to announce that Mr. David Glover, also known as the controversial counselor, will be joining us as a co-host for our Cocktails and Convo event. If you're in this area and you want to attend, it's another opportunity. There's going, trust me, fellas, from what I know, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. You can't lose. If you come and present yourself well, you can't lose with a 2-to-1 ratio.
Just like
Come through,
this.
pull up. But nah, y'all rather sit around. Y'all rather sit around with a bunch of dudes with blue balls and shit on the Friday instead of. Sorry, Paige. I hope you don't hear that. Said that. I know that's not a good advertisement thing, but again, I'm the controversial counselor, so I'm going to say that. So y'all rather sit somewhere with a bunch of dudes at the local bar or tavern, sit around talking about who looked fine, who looked good to y'all, but y'all ain't got a chance in France. But meanwhile, you got some eloquent women with elegance, class, have an event, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio. You need to pull up, especially if you someone say, man, I want a little something more, you know, consistent, or just a little something more tight to just maybe not get married, just somebody companionship or get to know, and we do things and we enjoy life. Well, this is what Paige is trying to create. And I didn't moved around on this thing. Hold on. Let me finish this thing. So she said, co-host, and she said the moment we've been waiting for has finally arrived. I couldn't be more thrilled to share this incredible news with you all. Drum roll, please. I am absolutely ecstatic to announce that Mr. David Glover, also known as the controversial counselor, will be joining us as a co-host for our Cocktails and Convo event. Get ready for an evening filled with lively discussion and fresh perspectives as David brings his signature controversy to the forefront. Fellas, this one's for you. We want to hear from you and we need you to represent. We got quite a few men already, but we're hoping for even more to join us. So mark your calendars and spread the word and get ready for an unforgettable event. So it's on my page. If you're interested in this area, inbox me, female or man, but fellas, 2-to-1 ratio. That's all I need to say. All I need to say. But that brings us to another talking point that me and one of my coworkers was talking about. All of this P. Diddy stuff and everything that's going on, it's a lot of crazy shit. Sometimes it has me wondering, do y'all guys want to be at a party with women? Or do you want to party with men? I mean, no, I'm just being real. Like, I'm just being real. See, me and my crew back in the days, we came from there with like, man, when it was opportunity and we had a plug and they said, hey, y'all come through. We're gonna play some cards. We're gonna have some food. We're gonna have some drinks. They always outnumbered us. Come through. We came through. We came through. Now I know in the Hollywood industry, but it ain't just Hollywood. There's a lot of dudes that, like I always say, teabag and all that stuff. But when you think about the P. Diddy thing effect, I don't know, man. All that shit is disturbing to me. It's disturbing. But people be trying to get ahead, but they may not. They don't have, I don't want to say morals, but they're willing to do anything
Corrigible, yeah.
Yeah, to get ahead. And some things you were like, man, get the fuck out my face with that. Like, now I don't get down like that. And but we always talk about somebody people chasing the silver bullet. People be chasing that and they willing to compromise anything. And rumor is, rumor is, and this is just outside chatter. And guys, I want you to come back and come at me because, like I said, we're here to make you feel uncomfortable, to make you grow. That some of you guys are starting to thinking the uh, ultimate thing is to never mind. I ain't gonna say. I ain't gonna say. I ain't gonna say. I ain't gonna say. No, I'm gonna say. They're being with another man. That some got that's their thought process. Like I done it all. I done been with women. I done had women since I was young. And then I get intrigued by another man. I don't want to bash anything, so that's why I said never mind. Just something for you to marinate on this for you to think about. There's some guys that's their thought process.
Yeah, man. I have no idea what planet the men are on, or whatever planet they're on. Let them stay there. I don't. Just they say things are cringeworthy. That is earth shattering, foundation destroying. Just what the farfanugan are you doing? But hey, if that's your thing, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to tell you to stay the fuck away from me, because I, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing about. I don't want to know nothing about it. Don't care. So, I mean, they out there. You know, the anonymous post in the counselor's corner spoke to that, and I don't believe the validity of it, but I'm not in the position to question it because it's not my lifestyle. So, people who are out here going to these swinger type parties and they doing this stuff. I mean, it's gay porn is a thing. I hate to say it, but I mean it's out there. Whether it's female to female, man to male, it's out there. It's out there for public consumption. It's out there for whatever, whoever. It's just not for me. Sorry, I don't. I don't know what the hell to say, except I ain't the one, and there's never gonna be two. I can't swim that way. But hey, if that's what rises your boat, knock yourself out. I will tell you this: be safe, or be sorry, and heaven forbid if you get caught in a love triangle, in the fight, because do I really want to tell the story? No, I don't think I can. It's far too sensitive and it involves individuals that, not that I know the names of the individuals, I just know the circumstances, but it involves a branch of let's just say the defense of the country wasn't at stake, but defenders were involved, and it was a love triangle involved three bats. Let's just say that. So it's real. It's definitely real.
And I guess one of the things is if that's your lifestyle, then just say it. Don't walk around like you that dude, but secretly
Yeah.
you like both sexes. Because again, I think I put up a thing was it last week or the week before, and I said, and I forgot what it was called because I didn't even I don't even remember stuff. Like it was some pansexuals
Oh,
that some guys may say and I don't even know if they say it, but say if they were comfortable, like I like women 90% of the time, and I like men 10% of the time. Well, I posted this, and I might have brought this up before. I posted this in the group, and they like, "Oh man, what type of shit you on? Oh, is that you? Nah, fool, that ain't me." But this shit is real. What I try to do is bring y'all real situations again. Ever since I came on as the controversial counselor, my whole thing is everybody has different perspectives and experiences that you can't live in a bubble, that people do different things. So that's always been my thing. So I put something out there. That doesn't mean because you write it that you're that's them secretly saying that. Ah, dude, I love women endlessly, endlessly to my eternity and everything. So no. But there's other people that, you know, have a niche for a guy, but they might like their woman more time, but then they just get caught up in a guy here and there. They may get bored and they may do. We talked about this stuff years ago. The download brother, sometimes he just gets bored. But to me, there's no going back. That's just my perspective. I'm not dibbling and dabbling with that. Uh, but there's people that do it. Women, you just hey, that's so. We always talk about KYP. Know your personnel.
Hmm.
You have to know your personnel. If you have a like maybe not, then maybe you need to ask further questioning. But it's out there. It's real, and this is what we talking about. Stuff that's real is happening. You may feel uncomfortable. You may not. It may lead you to ask further questioning. And again, it was open forum. Y'all could have came in here. The mic was yours. We wanted people that have whatever was on your mind, whatever concern you had, come through, pull up. So again, y'all will say, "Oh, I go to bed early, David, and I go to bed at like 10 o'clock, whatever, and all this." But y'all still be the ones strolling through, laying in the bed, strolling through, and talking about Facebook ain't real. Oh, it's all the way real.
Hmm.
Trust it. Some people don't present real information on there and they pretend to be something that they're not. But there's some people put out shit. That's their diary.
Yes,
Facebook
it
is their
is.
diary. And it's every day it's their tracking move. They put everything on there possible. Everything. It, that's up to them. To each his own. That's not something for me. Usually, I put is related to shit. The counselor's corner,
Right.
the channel, whatever. Unless I'm doing, it might be some family related because also one of the components in the counselor's corner is family. So I'm gonna post when I'm somewhere in my family and we celebrating. It don't always got to be negative stuff. What I really would like to see, and when we had themes, people were posting stuff. It's okay to post family events in the counselor's
Yeah.
corner and things of that nature. Hey, I was with my family. We had a good time. Whatever. Man, post that. It ain't always got to be TikTok videos and snippets of that. Shit, you just spent the time. You was at your brother's party or your nephew's graduation or your niece, but you were with family
Right.
and you had a good time. People like to see that. Then that lead to them posting stuff.
Hmm.
Y'all make it seem like this is a freaking devil's ground. We try
Yeah.
to post it, and I'll be versatile with my stuff. I stay posting stuff with the family events and things that went on. Uh, so don't feel like you can't do that. It's an open forum. You can do that. It's about life.
Yeah. I'm. I don't. I unfortunately I don't attend a lot of my family's functions. I know my brothers are supposed to get together and they're they're taking a vacation. Unfortunately, it's a little too rich for my blood. But absolutely, and this is something we spoke about earlier. You know, with the community and the Big Mama's house and getting together for Sunday dinner. There's and I'm and I'll probably speak for Dave too. We're fortunate. You know, we have families where we get along with our siblings. You know, my mother's no longer with us, but you know, we got along. We did things together because we genuinely care for each other. It's not love, it's a care. Care is a whole different level to where when something happens, you're there. You know, no questions asked. I I'm gonna get on the next flight if I can. I'm gonna get there because we care. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that. And for you individuals who don't, I can only sympathize for the lack of family unity that you are a part of or have to exist in. There's to me, there's nothing worse than not having family that you can call, speak to, sit around and just do nothing with. I mean, sometimes that's the best thing in the world is just to go hang out with your family and you don't have any worries, no concerns. You just sitting there drinking. You might be eating. Y'all might be watching a baseball game. You might be watching a movie or whatever the case is. That's life. That is the epitome of life. Is just sitting around with your family. I really can't make it any simpler than that. A nice summer day, some lemonade, or when we were kids, the peach knee high, out playing hopscotch, mother sitting on the porch, father sitting on the porch, kids laughing. That was living. That was life. That's what everybody aspired to be. That's what people wanted to have. That's what that's when the neighborhoods were neighborhoods. You don't have to worry about anybody coming through trying to kidnap your kids, trying to break into a home because the community was there. And the community was the extension of the family. This is why when we were kids, the next door neighbor could physically discipline you because they were an extension of the family. They were looking out for you. I know it may not seem like that. Well, why can somebody discipline you if they're not your family? Because they were the family. They were an extension of the family. If you went home and your mother wasn't there and you lost the key, you could stay there till your mother came home. We don't have those anymore. That community fabric is non-existent, and it's unfortunate.
And trust and believe that when it's a breakdown in the community, it's somebody that's been in the community and they got wind of it and they know the moves that's being made.
Mhm.
They probably might have been somebody that's been around, maybe a couple doors down, and and they're watching. And you as a parent, you got a 14, 15-year-old girl. She growing up, developing, shapely, whatever, but they're just chilling, probably smoking weed,
Mhm.
drinking with with their cousin over there. She get off the school bus, come in, and they're like, God damn, man. And he like, yo, and she only 15.
Right.
Man, damn. Are you sure she only 15? Man, she fine and all. And he makes sure that he come. And, and I know some of y'all got a sick mind, and y'all will say, "How do y'all know about this?" Unless y'all be a part of it. But when you have conversations throughout with different people, you kind of know how. Again, I always say, as a storyteller, I can always kind of map it out in my head how the stuff play out. So just follow me. So she coming through, and yeah, the one guy telling her, "Oh, man, she only 15, man. She good people, mother nurse,
Yeah.
dad. I think he work at a plant, whatever. They all right." But he like, man. She cute, man. Damn. And he like, yo, dude, she only 15, man. Yeah. Y'all do know that some people become obsessed with certain individuals or certain looks, and it leads them to trigger them to do certain things. And you don't know what his stability is.
Right.
So now he see, shit, ain't nobody ever, ain't nobody home, ain't nobody over there. Well, my cousin at work, I'm just gonna ride through there.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna ride through. I know he ain't around. I already got the layout of this neighborhood, and
Yep.
ain't nobody too many people be on the porch or whatever the case is around. Shit. She decided to walk to the store, come in, drop her book bag off, walk to the store, get a little snack or something she want. Bam. Just like that. Got her. Got her.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you this only so that you could get a clear picture like, shit, okay, that's real. That's real. That can happen.
Because
What
I
do you
can't,
do? Yeah, what do you do in that situation?
yeah, because I can't tell you how many times I've sat on my front porch. Now, I don't consider my block a main thoroughfare because it's not centrally located between any two things. But in the summertime, I see a lot of people walking up and down my block that don't live on my block or the block above me because there's only the block beneath me is pretty much empty. So I'm always watching. Now, on my block, there aren't many kids. You know, there used to be more last summer. Some people moved out the block and the kids went. So I'm always watching, you know, my block for people that don't belong. And I'm like, all right, you going through. But there are people like myself who do watch. We do neighborhood watches. So we know who belongs where. We know what cars are supposed to be out front and when a car's not out front or when a car's out front that don't belong there, we looking. We see what the plate is. Is it out of state? Or is it somebody that comes by every so often? Because I'm now on both sides of me. I have Airbnb. Well, one is certainly an Airbnb with two rental spaces, and the other one, I guess the owner's getting ready to turn to Airbnb. So there's going to be a lot of transient traffic on both sides of me this summer. I'm going to presume, and I'm going to be looking. I'll be looking at cars, where they park at, plates, who's going in, who's going out. Because if something happens to anybody that's with them, especially the kids, I want to be of some assistance. Not because I quote unquote care, but I don't want the neighborhood and the community getting a bad reputation. Because once the community gets a bad reputation, it impacts everybody else around here. Now, this is a working class neighborhood. We have very few families with kids. That being said, I still don't want any harm to come to anybody in this community. This is my community. I police this community like I own it. So when something go down, I'm looking to see how I can assist. Hopefully, we as a community can address something before it goes down. We can nip it in the bud, but that's not always the case, especially for me because I work midnight. So during the hours of 5 p.m. to like 7 a.m., I'm out of sight. Unfortunately, that's not when a lot of stuff happens. It happens during the sunrise and sunshine hours. So people, develop your communities. Go find out who your neighbors are. Work with them. Build with them. And if they're the type of neighbor that's cantankerous, then you probably have to build around them. But eventually, they'll come around. Why? Because they're going to want the protection that the neighborhood offers, and they're going to realize that, look, I have to change how I am if I want to fit in. And that happens with everybody. Eventually, everybody that wants to fit in has to change who they are for the benefit of the community. It's not a bad thing. Fitting in is not a bad thing. Trust me. I've been to many places. I've augmented various things about myself so I can fit in. And I know people say, you You changed? No, it's not necessarily a change. It's just change how I do something. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to make tweaks and revisions, and even again in relationship wise, you
Mhm.
have to make tweaks and revisions. You say, okay, I'm used to doing this way, but I actually like this person, so maybe I could bend a little uh and work with that person. You gotta improvise and compromise, and you have to do that. Some people not, again, we talked about standard of care, being selfish. Like, I don't do shit. I'm used to doing it this way, doing it that way, and then you run people off,
Mm-hmm.
and you wonder why. Uh, I always say, and I say, "Oh, you just being greedy. You just being greedy." You know, a lot of women they love to go out to eat. They love to go out to eat. But can you make me a damn sandwich
Yeah.
in a time of need, or say, "Hey, I'm gonna bring you a plate up to your job," or "Hey, I'm gonna do this or do that." Some guys they wait for that, and they may be schooled or got words listening from a voice from their grandmother or moms or whatever, and say, "Hey, real women like to feed men, like to
Yeah.
take care of them." And they not doing that. As my grandmother say, you go one way, and they go the other way. And some of y'all guys, I just want to spin, spin, spin. But she ain't made you a turkey and cheese sandwich,
Yeah.
and ain't made you a plate, or ain't thought about you. I know you ain't no. I know you don't cook like that or whatever. I was just at the family cookout and all that. We had all that. Let me get him a plate. I'm gonna call him so I can get him a plate, whatever, so he can have lunch or whatever. See,
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta be a forward thinker, and when you're not doing that, and y'all say, because y'all argue that to the end when we say things like relationships and things is about tests. You're getting tests. I don't play those games and all that. Some guys just sit back. They don't say nothing,
Right.
and they just say, "I'm just gonna see how she gonna handle this. How she gonna what she gonna do in this case or whatever." Sometimes they may even joke around. Would you bring me back? I was with my family and all that. They might throw some. Would you bring me back? Huh? Bring you back? And you already know that if that response is what? Bring you back some? What you mean? What you mean? But if you got a woman that's sincere and genuine, she may say, "Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I didn't know. I would have brought you some. I didn't even know
Right.
if you I didn't even think about it. I should have got you something." Now you may have somebody that may be willing to work with you, and the next time they go, like, "Oh, let me get him something. Let me get him." So you got to think like little subtle things you got to pay attention to. But who am I to say? Y'all just keep doing what y'all doing. Facebook ain't real.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep doing what you're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get what you got. And for most people, that isn't what they want. They want something. They just don't know they just don't know how to go about getting it. They don't understand. And I've said this before. At this juncture of our lives, if you haven't been in a long-term relationship or married, you should have somebody of the opposite gender who you can call on, who might be willing to bring you something over to eat. They know you down on your, not even down on your luck. I don't even want to say that. They know you had an off day, you going through something, and you need that pick me up. You need somebody to come through and just say, you know what, I got you. Don't worry about it. You've been there for me. Now it's my turn to reciprocate. And reciprocity is a must. Don't keep taking and keep taking from the well and don't replenish it, because you're going to need something from that well, and you've taken so much that there's going to be nothing left in that well. So return the favor. Do for other people what you want done for you. And I guarantee you that well will always have something there for you. Always. I'm willing to stake my life on that.
Yeah. you can't expect that somebody, well, I'm used to this guy doing this. I'm used to this guy. If you saying you're used to it and that guy's no longer in your life, there's a saying, used to bees ain't making no more honey.
Mhm.
So that what happened to that person? Obviously, you didn't either. You cut them off, or more than likely, you wouldn't tell it. They cut you off.
Yeah.
So it's about like you said, her said, that's a word I probably
Reciprocation.
yeah, reciprocation. Uh, some people you don't have to say that. Those is like unspoken words. You know what feels right, and you know when someone is they doing a lot for me. I have to return something, some way, somehow. Maybe I can't do it financially. Maybe I
Right.
can't take them or treat them to like that, but I can do some little things that I know that he may want. Hey, I'm washing clothes, and I know how y'all think, but hey, I'm washing clothes, uh, and I know you've been busy, whatever. If you want to bring your stuff here, I'll wash
Yeah.
it, fold it up for you, or something like that, because that's what I plan on doing all day or all weekend. So you can drop your stuff off, and I'll take care of it. That may be to the extremes for some of y'all because y'all always think I ain't nobody about to do all that shit. But that's why y'all probably Facebook isn't real in the
Yeah.
situations that y'all in because you have some people probably putting out more than you're willing to give.
Yeah.
And again, everything if you don't have balance, sooner or later, shit shit ain't gonna align. Someone's gonna go one way or the other's gonna go the other way unless you some it may not be 50-50, but it better be trolling toward 55-45, 52-48. It can't be, well, 80-20 in certain situations, but that don't probably pertain to this, the 80-20 rule. uh it can't be that high on one end and low on the other end. It's gonna have to be a balance, and if it's not, you're gonna have to be working towards getting it to be an even playing field. A lot of people not worth doing. They're not. They say
Yeah.
they're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we are, we're living in a time where the traditional, relationship paradigm is changing. Marriage is down. People don't want to date because they think the dating culture is messed up. And to a degree, the dating culture isn't what it used to be. Certainly 20, 30 years ago. So people are resorting to apps. And y'all know my stance on apps. Apps are hookup spots. They conduits for people to have sex, and that's it. Rarely are you gonna find meaningful long-term relationships from people with dating apps, because those people with dating apps, they have a mindset,
Hmm.
and that mindset isn't, let's get to know each other, let's sit down so we can discuss this, because those questions aren't there. They're not asking those questions. They don't care about your religion. They don't, we, are you attractive enough for me to even want to talk to you? Can I see myself having sex? No, you're ugly. Swipe left. And that's what it is. So why subject yourself to that kind of self-induced mental anguish? You on this dating app, especially if you're a guy, you on this dating app and you don't match anybody. You don't went to speak to profile experts. You done dropped a few extra pennies to get a glam shot. You done got in the best shape of your life, and you still can't find nobody to swipe right with you. Take Dave's advice. Go to a mixer. Go hang out somewhere. Take the dating coach's advice. Happy hour. Go to a professionals ball. Go to Toastmasters. Go to a museum. Get out. Stop sitting on your damn phone. Ride a bike. Do something. Get out there where the people are. Because that's where life, as Kevin Samuels used to say, life happens out there. Get out there. Stop sitting behind the computer on the phone. Get your ass out. Go running. Go jogging. Go to a park. Dog park. Do something.
Gotta do something. Also, I want to shout out to the WNBA draft with the young ladies that's trying to revolutionize the game for women. What a night for Caitlin Clark, what's her name? Angel Reese, and what's her name? Brink and stuff. Some of the other young ladies that I hope that they get their just due because hey guys, the viewership and all that stuff. And I watched the Final Four and then women. That crowd was crazy. It was crazy. It brought back the Bird and Magic with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Then brought back those days. So they on the upward projection as far as that. And I think somebody just posted Caitlin Clark's like 4 years. She make 300 some thousand. Now they gotta come better with that. 4 years.
I'm just doing a lot of contract discussion about that. I'm gonna have to look deeper into the contract terms or the collective bargaining they have with the NBA to see what's what. Because I'll come across some new information, and a couple of brothers are saying they understand why the women are holding the position that they hold, that they should be making more money. So we gonna see. And like you said, if the WNBA was really in tune to what's going on, not only would they increase some of these players' salaries, they would give these players ownership stake. That way, they are guaranteed some of the revenue. That's what I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Magic Johnson was given ownership stake with the Lakers in one of his contracts.
Yeah, I don't know all the details of it, but it all worked out. For him, obviously. I seen him back in the room with the Los Angeles Sparks, whatever. I said, I don't know if he might have ownership with them too. Magic got a little bit of he involved in a little bit of everything.
Yes, he is.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. Another thing, y'all don't got to worry about for all the people with all the hatred toward Bronny James. Bronny James gonna be all right no matter what. No matter what. Y'all do realize right now, even though he averaged 4 points a game in college, he still makes $7 million a year. With the NIL thing, and y'all can say, "Oh, he only gets that because of his dad." Okay, that's his dad. Okay, it's not like his dad, like he a foster kid. That's his dad. Right. Oh, you supposed to benefit off your family, whatever. So he's gonna be all right. And also, for some of you who don't really know sports, what you talk about, sometimes the college game isn't for everyone. The college game may be a system. He may get to the NBA. He may flourish based on his DNA with his dad and just being around other people, whatever. Right. So I don't count him out. I know he had the heart congestion thing that might have had a setback, but his future is bright, whatever. Yeah. He good no matter what. So for all y'all like to see somebody fail, or old ass people making comments about a kid that's like 19
Yeah,
Uh,
he's young. He's
yeah,
really
yeah,
young.
just let it go. He gonna be all right, man. He gonna be all right, and he will land. He probably will land on it because the one thing he can probably do is play defense,
Yeah.
and he can do that. He'll be all right. He gonna make some money. They gonna set him up. That's why it was set up that he put himself out there for the NBA draft, but also he still have the ability to go back to college too. So he might link up with the right program that fits his system, and that's what it's all about, a system. And like I was talking to one of my coworkers today, he was like, Dean. He told me, he's like, Dean Smith has said back in the days with Jordan, he said Jordan could average 40 some a game, but college held him back. The system, and that's what we got to look at. Sometimes a system, not only in sports, but it could just be everyday work. Sometimes the
Yeah.
system could hold you back, and you could do more. Sometimes by yourself being entrepreneur. That's why I said these kids could be talented and blessed with their skill set.
Yeah.
That they don't always got to be held back because of, and we always talk about over here trades and different things. They can do a lot of maneuvering with that because of the ability of social media and technology and stuff. So sometimes we try to put everybody in a box. You got to do this way, do this that way, and sometimes we hold people back. The
Yeah.
system can hold you back. And sometimes you just got to branch out and take a risk and do your own thing.
Yeah.
But we we talked about a lot, and and like I said, we'll probably have one of these sessions probably once a month. You know,
Yeah.
was hoping more
Since
people would come in with their concerns, and I know once you post the clips and stuff like that, people will have something to say. But hey, it's a dark conversation. A lot of times, that's what y'all sleeping on. That you could pull up, you could be in your own living room, have your wine, and say, you know what, I'm about to go on there. We about to chop it up like we are together and have a conversation. Nah, y'all still waiting for the local pub Thursday or Friday to have a drink with
yeah.
same old people who ain't talking about shit, who ain't doing shit, instead of saying, you know what, I got a lot on my mind. It's a lot bothering me. Instead of me posting it, I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna speak my mind. And again, like Herb said, you don't have to come on here if you don't want to show your face. You can use an avatar or whatever the case is. It's a platform to get out what's bothering you
Oh,
or whatever the case is. Because again, yeah, I know when stuff bother you, secrets keep you sick.
yeah.
That's called stress.
Hmm.
Stress kills. Eh, Not just saying us, but as black people, we have enough hypertension, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, um, um, sugar, diabetes, all that stuff. Sometimes you gotta find a way to release. That's just adding on to that. Sometimes you gotta find a way to release and have a conversation. Yeah, I ain't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't ready.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I ain't ready. But we gonna get out of here. Uh, Not to belabor the point. We gonna keep doing. We gonna keep doing. So, ain't nothing gonna deter this program. Whether it's two, three, four people watching or whatever the case is, just keep pushing forward. Because you know somebody watching and somebody taking heed to something that was said.
Yeah.
You know, you
And
get
I've got inbox messages that have said as much. So people are out here listening, and they're saying, man, I'm glad y'all keep doing this, man. Even if it's only you two, because y'all make some relevant points, and some of the things that you guys discuss need to be discussed.
yeah. Because if we have both sitting here and we were both millionaires, this shit would be lit up. It would be lit up. But yeah, you have to understand that millionaires ain't always they weren't always millionaires
Right.
unless they was kind of inherited to that, we just as LeBron said, I'm just a small town. What is it? The thing from Akron. We just two young men from Niagara Falls, New York.
That's it.
Just talking, trying to have a platform, and want people to be comfortable and understand that these situations that we have to address. So we try to cover a multiple things, a variety of everything, and not afraid to tackle any conversation. So with that said, Herb, anything you want to close it out with?
I just want to address something in the council school. Now, the anonymous posters, y'all like to have fun taking shots at brothers. And I understand that some of y'all, you claim you're married or whatever the case is, that's cool. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But what I find really suspicious is that your posts, they don't address anything. They lack substance. They juvenile. They really speak about you in its entirety. And you're going to keep posting it for whatever reason. My only thing is this: if you're going to post anonymously, at least make them interesting. At least try and generate some conversation and stop trying to throw stone at imaginary people for your pleasure, I guess. I don't, some type of twisted, distorted reality that you reside in. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that get your panties wet, get your mojo going. I don't know, but make it relevant, make it funny, because it's easy to tell who you're going after, because when I post, you don't say anything back, which lets me know you don't have the intellectual capacity to deal with somebody who's actually going to respond intelligently. So you're looking for the few fools that you can trigger, and them brothers haven't figured it out yet to just not reply. I keep telling them, I used to say it all the time, DNR, and they don't catch on. Stop responding. You go away because you're not getting what you want. So I know you're gonna keep doing it. Be you. But fellas, leave that numbskull chick alone, and she'll disappear. And with that, as always, are you gonna put a brick in the wall, or are you gonna take a brick out of the wall? And I'm gonna steal the big bad wolf's closing. I'm Ron Washington. Hi there. Godspeed. See you next time.
All right. And Lashanya said, "You gentlemen always hit the mark." Thank you. Thank you. And I mean, it's just about being open and transparent and being real with these conversations. And far as the anonymous, to follow back on what Herb said, I'll put it through, because obviously, man, they may not want the smoke from everybody to let them know, but clearly there's something that's driving that conversation that they want to get out there. Now, like Herb said, it's up to you how you respond to it.
Yeah.
Everything is about how you respond to it. And I always make parallels to me and my middle school kids. I tell them all the time, it's how you respond to it. When you respond differently, they're going to leave you alone and they're going to go away. But if they could figure they could get a rise out of you, and the same thing in relationships.
Yep.
People do stuff to pick and prod, and when you start responding different, like, I'm not even thinking about you. I'm going in my space. Leave me alone. You'll have sometimes people follow you wherever you're going, keep on going, and you're like, yo, you're not about to take me there. When you let somebody take you there, again, they talk about renting space in your mind. They got you.
Yeah.
They keep going. Renting space for free in your mind. So, and I always tell people, and I know that's the silencer. So I might. It depends. I might go back and forth for a little bit sometime, but then eventually I say 9 o'clock Monday nights. Come through, pull up. Crickets. That's
Yeah.
the silencer. If you want to talk about this, if you really want to talk about it, show face Monday nights, because this is the extension of the counselor's corner. It's all connected. Show face. Like I keep saying, all y'all guys that keep putting all these damn posts, because somebody told me, oh, I posted this in February. Dude, I
Yes.
just simply didn't get to it. I simply didn't get to it. Oh, well. But you know how you want to, if you got something to say, Monday nights at 9 o'clock, come
Yeah.
through. Say
Yep.
what you got to say. Show
Yep.
face. So they can say, oh, shit, he real.
Yeah.
He real. This is real. I bet you'll get a different response if you show face, whatever. And a lot of y'all got to. Sometimes I get like, okay, the same old come through. This is the extension. This the after party right here. All the week of posted, pull up right here at the party. At the party, after party, or whatever the case is. This might be the main event. In fact, this is the main event. Throughout the week, that's the appetizer leading up to the main event. When the lights is bright, come through here.
Yeah.
It say what you got to say without using a meme or a video or whatever the case to say, hey, black women, why y'all wear them eyelashes like that? Why y'all do this? Why y'all do that? Why y'all wear wigs? Why y'all do that? Come through, show your face. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, scary asses. and that's for men. It ain't for women. That's for men. Scary asses. But come through. Anything I want to say, I'm gonna say it on here. And I don't really take shots like that on the council's corner, so it wouldn't be my style to come at them like that on here. But if it's something I want to hone in on, I'm gonna hone in on, and I'm here. My face, everything, you see it. So that's real.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good people. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Some places stay cool or whatever the case is, but always be mindful, because again, the weather's breaking. There's so many different things to think about, and this election year, right? 2024 is so
yes, it is.
Many things going on as far as that. So just be mindful and thoughtful of what's going on, and pay attention to your surroundings, and just don't get caught up in your regular bubble. It's a lot of shit happening.
Yep.
Happening real fast. So we appreciate you all, people that was in the comment. Appreciate y'all, even though I say step it up and come to this platform. I appreciate everybody in the counselor's corner that post information. I know sometimes it's annoying to some of the ladies or even some of the guys. Sometimes you just got to have control and stroll by, whatever. But when you don't have that ability to do that, then they hit on something that you feel like, okay, wait a minute, I got to respond to this. They hit on something, and they're going to keep on pressing their luck, whatever, until you ignore their asses. So that being said, we out. On to the next one. See y'all next time. Everybody enjoy your week. Be well and be safe. Peace.
All right, take care. The wolf will be back next week.
The wolf at the veterinarian right now. Peace.